everybody. So this term in humanities, the class will split into three groups: Babylon, Alexandria, and Persia. Most of us, apart from Logan, were in the Babylon group, so we're going to tell you about some of the things we learned during this unit, and then we'll be presenting a play.
So when studying an ancient civilization, we obviously have to learn about its history. And we learned some very interesting facts, and we have here some of them here to present to you. So first off, in the 18th century BC, Babylon was just a small kingdom under the rule of King Hammurabi. He began conquering nearby city-states and even some countries, and his empire grew quite rapidly. So he had to do something to keep his empire under control and in shape. So he decided to, introduce a very radical thought at the time, which was written law. Before then, there was no written law. So he inscribed with cuneiform, their form of writing, basic laws, and even some quite advanced laws, and then they distribute it around the empire. So they even had some quite modern laws about crime and punishment, like if a man commits murder, he shall be killed.
In the 7th century BC, a region north of Babylon grew in size and power. They're based in Asia. They were the Assyrians.
The Assyrians invade Babylon, and they overwhelm it completely and utterly destroy it and ransack it under the rule of King King Sennacherib.
Sennacherib's actions appalled many people throughout Mesopotamia.
A prolonged period of social and economical unrest follows the sacking of Babylon, with some periods of outright rebellion.
In the 6th century BC, Babylon was revived under the rule of King Nabopolassar.
Nabopolassar also avenges the fall of Babylon previously and attacks the Assyrians and destroys one of their main cities, Nineveh, after a 3-month siege.
Babylon was also the final resting place for Alexander the Great. He died after a banquet in 323 BC.
And the fall of Babylon was directly related to the Greek invasion of the region, where Seleucus founded a new city, ironically called Seleucia, which overtook Babylon in size, and then Babylon slowly got forgotten over years and became a ruin, and then forgotten completely and passed into legend until it was excavated in the 20th century.
So another topic that we learned about in the unit was the Ishtar Gates. The Ishtar Gates used to be one of the wonders of the world. Reason being, I think it used to be about 45 feet high, and they were glazed with bricks and tiles. And at the front, they would usually be carved into animals like bulls and lions and other animals like that. As well as teaching us about the gates, then Rose goes to design and draw our own version of the gates using our nationality, birth or star signs, or anything else special to us. So I'm going to show a few examples of the pictures that we drew. So this one, it is my one. I have two images, so I've drawn the Indian flag and the New Zealand flag on the door, and I have a rainbow background because you know rainbows are awesome. And designing and drawing these gates was my favorite part of this unit.
For humanities this term, we also looked at the ancient Babylonian hanging gardens. Nobody knows whether or not they actually existed, apart from little proof of paintings that were painted in that period of time. Theories on why the ancient Babylonian hanging gardens do not exist today, storms and weather slowly could have washed it away, so it's non-existent today. The hanging gardens weren't actually hanging, they were just on different levels of ground, and also they had vines hanging from one level of ground to the other, which gave it a more hanging look. Up on this wall here we have our own versions of the hanging gardens, and we each got to put one mythical plant or in our gardens because we weren't certain that they actually existed. I think if the Babylonian hanging gardens did exist today, it would definitely be a sight worth seeing.
Finally, we finished up the unit by learning about the gods. The Babylonians worshipped many gods, and most of these gods were connected by a family tree. Some of the major gods were Anu, who was the head of the gods. He reigned in the uppermost part of heaven and had an army of stars to destroy evildoers. Then there was Enlil, god of the hurricane and deluge, was also the source of royal power and dealt good and evil to men. Then there was Sin, the moon god. He was an enemy to the wicked, shining his nightly light upon their deeds. His children were Shamash, the sun, and Ishtar, the planet Venus. Shamash was the sun god, a dispenser of light and justice to the world. He was also the god of prophecy. Finally, there was Ishtar, one of the most popular Babylonian deities. She was the goddess of sexuality, a potent force among beasts and men. She sanctified temple prostitution. Lustful herself, Ishtar had numerous lovers, most of whom had dreadful fates. Now we will be doing a play about Nineveh, another one of the gods that the Babylonians worshipped.
The reason we're doing this play is because most of the ancient Babylonian gods had like a myth or legend to go along with it. So this is one to go along with this god up here.